Okay, so I'm here on a Sunday and I felt like playing some Magic the Gathering. I tried to do this earlier but had some technical difficulties. I'm Vice, the wife of Wilhelm the Wise, and this is sort of a game that I play every day, every other day. I've already got my dailies here, started out in Paper Magic, and just moved to this. So earlier I did a quick draft of Murders at Karlov Manor. It went okay. I didn't do the greatest. I think I went 1-3, which is pretty bad. And then I went to my typical game, which is Brawl. Um, so it's on my recently played. I was playing my Death and Staxes deck, but I think I'll go with what I played today for my dailies. My current decks are the first 5 here. This is what I've been playing for all of 2024. You've got Thalrog Abzan, which is white, black, green. It's got some control. It's got kind of aggro card draw. Black, blue zombies with the Scorpion God as the commander. It's pretty good. It's kind of a themed deck dedicated to Wilhelm the Wise. Tameo Clues is one of my favorites. It got enhanced by the latest set with all of the clues. Death and Staxes is just sort of a way for me to sort of cushion myself against most people, but I usually get matched up like either very poorly or very well. So that one's kind of a touch and go. And then Merfolk just started out as Merfolk Tribal, but we'll take a look at that one since I'm going to play it again today. And I usually just play whatever deck the dailies require. Today's was about land drops, so of course I played Tatyova Benthic Druid. So when a land enters the battlefield, I gain a life and draw a card. Thanks for telling me my voice was clear this time. Boo to technical difficulties. So a lot of it revolves around land, though it's not the most landfall enhanced deck that there could be. It's got some basic targeted removal in green, a couple of things that mill other opponents, though that's not really a win con in the deck. It's got some toxic, just because poison counters can be good, and I have a couple of things in here that proliferate. Let's see. I think just kind of looking at what I have in general, this is still one of my more tribal decks, but I like to play cards that are not just one thing. I like them to sort of have a couple of different abilities, if possible, or different uses. Altar of the Brood, for example, a lot of people really dislike, especially if you have a lot of things entering on your side. So it'll take some targeted removal away from something else that maybe I value a little bit more, which is not really a way to build a deck, but I do that sometimes. This card goes in almost all of my decks if I can figure out a way for it to fit, unless I just really have that covered, just because it makes things lose hexproof and indestructible. It gives you trample and lifelink. It's a 1-drop. It's pretty good. So Simic is not known for board wipes, more like targeted things, bouncy things. So I use a couple of these cards. Cyclonic Rift. I like the overload effect, especially if I was playing more than one person. So I can bounce something early if I need to stall, or I can send it back late game. Everything back to your hand. This is just a way to create more tokens, a little bit of a control on something big and nasty. Another way to get card draw and poison counters. A very useful Merfolk, Thassa's Oracle. Let's see, Druid class gives me a little bit more life gain, allows me to play a couple lands on a turn, which is nice for the commander. And then I hardly ever use level 3, but that's also there in case I really need it for a creature. Some more targeted removal. This is another good example of the way I like to play a card that can do multiple things. And then I have a lot of Explore, which was enhanced by this current The Murders at Karlov Manor set. So a little bit more landfall with some counters. This is nice for scrying. Proliferate, enhanced exploration again. This is an alchemy card, but also very useful. Both of these work well, these new merfolk. Simic Charm is in here just because it's a Simic deck, and I've actually found this card pretty useful. There's Skullpiercer Gnat, adding to the level of poison counters. As Foretold is very nice. Kind of get costs down, play free things, always good. And then another way to create tokens, because the deck isn't super heavy on creatures, so tokens are going to kind of help me, but my curve on creatures is pretty good, and then my average cost is pretty low. But I do have more lands in this deck than I usually run, just because it's a land-based deck. Midnight Clock will allow me some recursion, targeted removal, probably the only artifact removal I can think of, but maybe I'll come across something else. I like to use this to bring a card back from the graveyard, but if I have to, I'll use it for land. That's nice because it proliferates as well. Cultivate, of course. More exploration. Realm Walker's nice. Especially in a deck like this, so it gets targeted a lot. This one's good. I haven't been able to really test what I like and dislike about it, but I mean I do like the map token creation. So Kamina gets targeted a lot, and he's not even that useful to me, so that's fine. He's thematically in here as a merfolk. Urro's great. Vidalian Tide Mage is nice. I like his effect of conjuring duplicates. And then you've got some of your basic, staple merfolk in here as well. Surgical Metamorph is nice, in case, they have something that I just don't run in the colors or would work really well with what I've got going on. This one also just kind of fits the theme. Thassa, of course, for those ETBs. Card draw, exploration, it's nice when those are out together. Counters and land. Contagion Dispenser I really like in this deck. I'd probably, if I ever took it out, I'd take out everything that had Toxic and just make a completely different, just put it with something else, because I really like this card a lot. This one I've kind of been testing. I don't remember what it replaced, but it's kind of weird and I haven't found a great way to use it yet, but we'll see. This is a brand new edition, and yeah, I've only used it a couple times. I guess I didn't realize it would just conjure any random card of any color, but that's kind of neat, so hopefully it can help me out, which is what I'm hoping, if I'm in a tight spot and I really need something good. I've got a couple of the Phyrexians in here. Teferi is nice. There's the other one. This card I have only got to go off a couple of times because sometimes I'm a little creature shy since I run it short, but I do like to save it for when I don't have any cards in hand. Tamio is nice. Nice little bit of control on her +1. Can usually stall someone out, and then of course her -7, making things cheaper and allowing me a free card draw on my turn. So she's very useful. I can't say I've ever used her -X, but I mean I could. River's Rebuke. Storm of Saruman is great in this deck. I have it in one of my other decks. I like it in both. Probably does more work in this one. Primeval Bounty is nothing but good stuff. Primeval Titan brings out lands, which is nice for my commander. Kiora Best to See God, I don't know. Maybe I'll find something to replace that someday. Another Phyrexian, the Great Henge, and then I've been testing out Lost in the Maze, which has come off once for me. And then I just threw in Doppelgang, and I've had it in my hand a couple times, but there either hasn't been the desire to make copies of anything that was currently on the board, or I just haven't had the mana to make enough copies for me to feel like it was worth it. So I don't know how long that will actually be in the deck. And then I kind of updated my lands a little bit and threw in a Rivendell for the scry ability. Just my beautiful islands. And then I put this in just for some more removal. Forests. And then like a basic loadout of lands that you might consider putting in the deck. These are the ones I like. This one because it's a tribal merfolk deck for the most part. And this one because it hits twice. And then this one for proliferate. So that's what I'm going to run for this stream. So I've been trying to come up with a red deck, probably Boros red-white, but every time I try, I throw 400 cards into the pool, and then it's too overwhelming and there are too many good mechanics and good cards that I just can't seem to cut enough to get it down to 100. So I'm not sure when I'll be getting a deck that has red in it. 'Cause I'm not even sure that I could honestly whittle it down with mono red. So I'm hoping the audio is not too overwhelming. I'm going to try to turn it down just a little bit, because I can hear it pretty loudly in my ear. Hopefully that will work. All right, so all of this looks good to me. This is sort of ideal. I don't combo off or anything like that. So yeah, I've got 3 land, a couple creatures, something to start with. Okay, so that would enter tapped. So I'm going to put out Altar of the Brood in command tower for my first turn. Oh, it looks like you're hearing just me. Well, we'll have to fix that at some point. Yeah. Well, more technical difficulties, but I'm sure we'll work it out at some point. So they have a Seer Step pathway, beautiful full art, and Agademe the Undercrypt. And I want to get my land on, so I'm going to do Uro. Love his animation. And they have Rowan, Scion of War. 4/2 with Menace. Tap, spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you lost this turn. Okay. Oh, Cavern of Souls, human. Okay, gonna play Deep-Root Waters, so when I cast a Merfolk spell, I'll get another hexproof 1/1 Merfolk. And then I'll cast Nikanzel, Current Conductor. And she does things when I explore. Oh wow, I'm glad that's in the graveyard. I hope it stays there. That's definitely a game winner in certain decks. That's a really cool art on Cavern of Souls. Very nice. Oh, I forgot to say hi earlier. I usually do that with Liliana here. I'll definitely have to do that at the end of the game. Okay. Looking for something in particular. Face down. Lovely Orzhov sleeves. I think, like, I never use a card like Necropotence. I think I just don't understand it well enough. It's definitely not in my playstyle in general. Milling my opponent is definitely not something that normally happens a lot with this deck, but if they don't mind, I don't mind. Well, that's nice. So there's the tunnel guide. Give me some nice boons. Oh, polluted delta. Love those. I don't even know what they're called. Sacklands. I don't know. Cons of Tarkir. I think that was the first set I drafted in paper, and I just fell in love with drafting. Limited is definitely my favorite format, and Commander would be second. But amongst Limited, I think the Great Equalizer is sealed, so it's the top for me. Oh man, it's Terror of the Peaks. See what I can do about that. Ooh, that's so tempting. This is probably the wrong choice, but I love this card too much. Alright, so no attacks for me this turn. They will probably kill Tatyova immediately. That's what I would do. But maybe they'll just try to burn me alive. I don't know. I've got some beautiful lands over there. Giddy with anticipation. Oh, yay. Removal on something that doesn't matter to me is a good waste of removal. Just a waiting. Oh, that was unexpected. I guess I won. Definitely just unexpected. All right. So I guess we'll try that again. See if I can do a little bit better with the Merfolk and actually feel like I deserve the win. But yeah, I play whatever deck finishes my dailies, and if there's one or two that would do that, I kind of pick the one I feel like playing or the one I didn't play last, and most of the time they're covered. The hardest daily for me is probably killing creatures of my opponents, just because I kind of exile them in some of my decks and don't have a whole lot of targeted removal. Alright, so this looks good enough. It's a good start. I've got this kind of to help me out. I think we can go with it. I do appreciate having the London mulligan, free mulligan in Brawl. Remember to say hi this time. Hated this guy when he first came out because I didn't know he exists. And then it was played against me and I was like, what is that? But I also don't really read much of the lore. I never have. And then I also, I don't really keep up, with the sets as they come out. I sort of draft them completely blind. So this last one I've been drafting completely blind as well. I guess I like the mystery. I just noticed his name and his commander. So, Oh, okay. There's a couple different iterations of him. Not sure how I feel about this one. I think we'll just put out the Tide Mage and see what happens. Alright, an Explorer is coming out. Not going to copy anything this time. And I'm not going to attack with anything yet. So at the beginning of combat on my turn, Deep Fathom Echo explores, and then I can have it become a copy of a different creature I control until end of turn. There isn't really much on the board that I want it to become. Oh, hey, there's the other one. Okay. So I definitely don't have mana for that, but this is what it's like. I had it in my hand last game. I just don't have the mana to really do much with it. So I think I'm gonna let them explore first. And then I still don't want to make it another copy of something. But I definitely want to take it over here. And I want to take my Tide Mage over here. And I want to see what happens. Because I kind of wanted to take the life gainy ram out. So I think I'll do it this way, giving them a poison counter. So hopefully I can draw some good stuff when Tatiova comes out. Also gorgeous lands in the new set. Puppers and butterflies. Apologies that you can't hear the ambiance, but earlier it was too loud and I think we got it kind of the opposite this time. So next time we'll try to be better. So each of my Brawl decks has a different avatar and a different pet depending on what the deck is. The fish seemed appropriate. Was that from Streets of New Capenna? I think it was. I can't remember. And then Kiora, I just acquired her. She seemed appropriate. I just had a bunch of gold, spent a bunch of it on a couple things in the shop and some drafts. But I always load the same little like stickers. This is great if someone's roping intentionally, kind of like a perfect sentiment. Love this one from the D&D set. Used to do this one during roping, but it's kind of rude. I used this one on myself earlier because I made just like the dumbest mistake. This one I think was free around the holidays last year. Tameo is great because sometimes I have internet issues. And then like this one was from Post Malone a couple of years ago from a little like festival set. Don't need a forest, but I do want the trigger. I think I'm good. We'll go at him again. Just checking the chat every once in a while, trying to get into the habit. This is my, if you don't count earlier, because I don't think you could hear me before I deleted it, this is my first video and chatting stream. I've done a couple silent ones for tests, but I'm just not used to being on camera, I guess. Just still waiting. So Goofy Liliana is kind of my hello, goodbye. I think she's from a couple Halloweens ago. I can't remember if that was from Eldraine, but sometimes I can't figure out what they're doing, and it's usually a combo player, and I don't see it coming if it's never hit me before. So I don't use him often, but he comes in handy right before I die. Okay, well, that's win number 2. That one was a win from roping. Still doesn't feel great. It's definitely not meant to go that way necessarily. but at least I leveled up. Another Mastery Orb. Pack of the new set. Connecting the Dots enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. Discard your hand, sacrifice Connect the Dots. Put all cards exiled with connecting the dots into their owner's hands. So again, I don't really play with a lot of exiled cards. That's definitely a playstyle. I just haven't mastered it yet. The only thing I ever buy on here is the Mastery Pass. It's like $14.99, I think, when you get it before the set starts. I'm already almost to my final guy, Tunnel Tipster, the little avatar guy, or not avatar, pet. I've got another 400 gems that I haven't collected. The Exquisite Sleeve this time is Coerced to Kill. Excuse me, I think it's really pretty. I might put it on a deck. And then another 1,000 gold towards the end. So we just entered the final 30 days of this, and this kind of just popped up. In terms of mastery, I don't play every day, but I tend to get my like 3 or 4 wins and dailies when I do play. I don't let them collect so that I can, you know, move up the Mastery Pass. So I've gotten everything but red, and I'll be starting red with this one because I only have 6 left. Unfortunately, you can't get all of them if you don't pay for the pass. But the pass is nice. You get a draft pass at, I think, usually level 15. And, you know, a couple of extra things here and there. So in terms of set collection, for the alchemy, I have 9 rares and a mythic left. I'm not really focused on that. I kind of looked at them. I don't really need them. As you can tell, I've collected most of the sets, and then some of them I've collected, you know, almost a play set of everything. But most of this is just from playing. So Khans of Tarkir I didn't play a lot. It wasn't a real set, so it didn't have its own pass. So that's just from, you know, playing when it did come, buying a few rares and mythics, I think probably. Because like I said, that was the set that I started drafting on. Not the set that I started Magic on, but that was my first draft set. And I think I ended up in Teamer most of the time. That just really worked out. I've got to go buy that final uncommon. I'm just going to buy it, whatever it is. But I've got 11 rares of the current brand new set. And then looks like 7 mythics of that set. And I don't know if any of those are worth buying, besides that one uncommon. So that's where I am on mastery. So might as well get that over with. And it is just the Culvert Ambusher. So now if I go back, it should have turned that gold. Still at 93%, but now you can see 283 out of 400 uncommon I have the full set of. This is like a really big set. So there's that. I think I'll give it one more go before I stop for the day, just because neither of those games really had a good, succinct resolution. But yeah, we'll continue with Merfolk since, again, that's just what I've been playing today. Okay, so all forests all the time. I think I'm going to take the free mull this time just because I don't really care for what I'm looking at. That's better. I think I can definitely keep that. Very nice. And they are playing Satoru Umezawa with ninjutsu. Don't forget to tell them hi. Oh, very nice. Howling Mine. Extra card draw. But that means I'm going to have to discard. Wouldn't you know? Alright, we'll do Midnight Clock. Oh, nope, I got 7. Okay, good. Let's hope I pull a land. Darn it. Let's see. We'll do this. Try to get a land. Not a land, for sure. I think we're going to go with the hexproof enchantment. Maybe later, if we need it, we can bring back the Skydiver. Hate Sludge Monster. I used to run him in one of my decks. Doesn't have anything to change him, so I'll take the 3. There we go. This is probably risky, but I don't care. Teferi's nice. So for 0, he puts out a 2/2 vigilant creature. When I draw a card, I put a counter on it. And then when I draw cards, I put loyalty counters on him. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a -2 feature. His 0 is drawing a card itself. And then his -12 is target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to its owner's hand, and then shuffle each non-land permanent they control back into the library. So it's kind of like a board wipe, kind of. Just goes back to the library. So now that he's done that, I will just kill off Sludge Monster, because I hate that guy. I used to use that guy. But he was never as handy on my side of the board, I felt like, than maybe like other people had better uses for him than I did. Oh, boo. They get to go again. Time Warp. Which is fair. I used to run Time Warp as well in a couple of decks. It's a good way to like get back in the game or kind of dominate the game. It's definitely a good way to get rid of my undefended Teferi. Oh man, that's not great. Put the Hunger Dominus away. Well, at least there was Deep-Root Waters. Maybe it won't get bounced back to me. Maybe it will, though. Oh man, That's probably game. Casting spells for free and looking at stuff and casting spells for free. Oh man, this is kind of a bad time. So I will put out an island and I will put out one of my favorite cards, Storm of Sauron. You saw me play it earlier. Also probably the wrong time to do it then. And then I will tell this person goodbye and most definitely concede the game because they had me. So yeah, my decks, I try to make them... This one was more tribal, but I try to make them sort of able to encounter most decks, but when they fail against a deck, they fail spectacularly. So that was a really good example of Merfolk Tribal failing spectacularly. So that's going to be my stream for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please see our page. Please like and subscribe if you liked what you saw either today or some of our past streams with my husband Wilhelm the Wise. Again, I'm Vice, and we're gaming for change. It's in our bio. There's a link to our GoFundMe, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I hope you have a great day, and stay safe.